Welcome back to Neo Geo Generation. I'm Neo Alec. In this series, we've been covering every Neo Geo game in order, but this time we're once again taking time out to look at a brand new Neo Geo game. Vengeance Hunters is a new indie brawler, or beat 'em up, for Neo Geo, developed by Nalua Studio and released in 2024. The cartridge itself is based on the same technology as the Neo SD flash carts, and it's available as either an MVS arcade cartridge or an AES home cartridge, with identical game code on both versions. The game is also available for $20 on modern platforms, including Steam, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox, where it was released 2 months before the Neo Geo cartridges were shipped, so many have already had a chance to play this game. The modern release is more or less the same game as the Neo Geo version, including a 4:3 screen aspect ratio, but according to the developer, it is running natively, not under emulation. So although there will always be purists paying a premium for the Neo Geo cartridge like me, the game is easily accessible for anyone to play.
Hey Alec, I've been busy making the next episode of PC98 Paradise, but do you think I can join you on this one? Sorry to interrupt folks, Alec and I were together over the holidays when this new Neo Geo cartridge arrived in the mail. We both played it together over some rounds of beers and really enjoyed it. So what do you think? How about we take a look at this one together?
Sounds good, Mr. Jakes. So let's get a closer look at the packaging. I ordered the Neo Geo version from Nalua Studio's site, where the carts will ship from Andorra, but it's also available from Stone Age Gamer in the US, where it's currently still in a pre-order status, awaiting shipments. I've ordered the regular edition of the MVS cartridge, which goes for €349. It comes with an AES-style case that fits the MVS cartridge, and a full-color manual. This box used to ship the game kind of looks like an MVS kit box, but it isn't. It has no markings on it. There's also a special edition available for €429, which additionally includes an art book, soundtrack CD, 3 character pins, and 5 design sheets, all included in a special box. For the same price, there was a limited edition, which was the same as the special edition, but with a red cartridge. The Stone Age Gamer pre-orders are $400 for the standard editions and $490 for the limited editions. Since Terra Onion handled the hardware, the cartridge design is similar to and seems to use the same mold as the Neo SD flash cart. These AES-style MVS cartridges are pretty cool, but for some reason they ship their cartridges with the shell facing backwards. I guess their thinking is if you have one of these horizontally loading one-slot MVS boards, the art will be facing up.
Well, isn't that cute? But it's wrong!
If you own any vertically loading board, especially if you have one of the many vertically loading consoleized MVS systems, the cartridge label will be awkwardly facing backwards. Luckily, they did include the option to open the cartridges and reverse the boards inside. There's even a swappable piece for these ports on the side. To do this though, you have to partially remove this sticker to access one of the 4 cartridge screws. I was on the fence about trying it, but did end up reversing my cart, using a hairdryer to carefully partially pull back the sticker and access the screw. Now I've got my Neo SD Pro and Vengeance Hunters cartridges facing forward in the cart slot.
Alright, we'll have a little more on the hardware at the end of the video, but for now let's get into the game. Press A for a light attack, B for a heavy attack. The C button jumps, and the D button performs your character's signature move. The D button changes to your floating robot drone's attack whenever you pick one of those up, which are limited. Hold A to do a special charge attack. Pressing A and C together performs a special attack that sacrifices a bit of your life bar. However, the sacrificed energy shows up as a dark gray segment of the bar, which you have a chance to earn back by surviving and hitting enemies. If you get hit while it's gray, that part of the bar is permanently lost. This is a nice risk-reward system in the game, and giving you the chance to earn it back, unlike in many similar games, is very player-friendly. But this was just a quick summary of the button layout. The game really plays differently depending on which of the 3 characters you choose. For example, Golem the robot is the grappler of the game, and for him the D button is used for throws. If you play as Candy, who is a fast character specializing in combos, she can do this cartwheel by pressing D, where you're generally invincible and can move quickly around the screen. Looney is a bit more of a balanced option, but his D button moves are for ranged projectile shots. The moves list in this game is quite extensive and completely unique for each character. There's even a moves list available from the pause menu in this game. You press start rather than select to pause while in home mode in this one. My brother and I were usually too busy playing the game to open this menu, but if you're someone who often looks at the in-game moves lists in fighting games, this might be perfect for you. Suffice to say, we still have a lot more to learn about playing this game, and it feels like we've only scratched the surface of how to optimally play these characters. There's a lot of juggling going on in this beat 'em up, keeping enemies airborne as long as possible, slamming them against the wall, or bouncing them off the ground. According to the game's gameplay designer, known as America, his inspiration was, what if Marvel vs. Capcom was a beat 'em up on the Neo Geo? So if that sounds good to you, or even if it doesn't, you'll probably enjoy this. The challenge of keeping the enemies in the air is great fun in Vengeance Hunters. There was a lot of juggling in Streets of Rage 4 too, but this is definitely its own thing. The game isn't meant to be played as a simple brawler where you approach enemies and punch them, but instead has enough of its own unique spin on the formula to make it stand out.
There are 3 difficulty levels: Prey, Hunter, and Vengeance modes. There are a couple more modes that can be unlocked, including an Expert mode difficulty level. While playing in home mode, you'll get a total of 6 continues per player in Prey difficulty, 3 continues in Hunter difficulty, and only 1 continue in Vengeance mode. While playing in 2-player mode, the amount of continues allowed doubles, but they go into a pool that's shared by both players. The majority of the gameplay consists of the enemies telegraphing when they're about to attack by flashing. While flashing, the enemies are mostly invulnerable, and if you're nearby, you have only a moment to react and get clear before taking damage. It's a simple mechanic, but quite fair and easy to learn compared to most arcade games. Generally, the simple rule of staying clear of enemies when they're about to get up is a good idea in this game. Your life bar is also quite large and slow to deplete in this game, making it quite possible to survive on 1 life for an extended amount of time as you become more skilled. At first I was wondering how Golem eats the apple and roast turkey, but I think I've got it figured out now.
I need fuel. Go ahead, quick, get in the car.
Unlike the majority of Neo Geo releases, including many of the later, unofficial ones, the difficulty in Vengeance Hunters is tuned for the home market rather than arcades.
The majority of the game is played as a brawler, but the game is broken up by some special sections which change up the gameplay. Stage 2 has an auto-scrolling motorcycle segment where you collect gold for bonuses and jump over obstacles. The Stage 3 boss in the arcade begins with a mini-game where you take turns pressing a button to block or attack. I suck at this one. The final stage opens with a quick shooter section. While these special segments aren't particularly challenging and don't have a lot of new animation, the gameplay and graphics are completely different, making these an impressive addition to an already varied and engrossing game. And those graphics are quite impressive and varied throughout. Certainly, the game wears its non-Japanese origin on its sleeve in the art style, looking quite different from official Neo Geo releases from back in the day. Per the game designer, America, the inspiration for the art style was Saturday morning cartoons. At any rate, the game looks nice. Plenty of animation and parallax scrolling backgrounds. There's a variety of terrain you'll encounter throughout the game, and the enemies are varied enough. It's quite fun as the game progresses to see the human enemies fighting the zombie enemies, or the human enemies showing up on the alien spaceship. I like this diagonal scrolling section in Stage 3, including the giant manhole with an enemy inside. It reminds me of Ninja Turtles and Streets of Rage 2. I also enjoyed beating up the Mystery Machine.
Let's get back to the mystery van.
The game is very fair with its traps, like these lasers to avoid in the Stage 4 elevator section. There are also some optional secret rooms to be found, containing items used to unlock a secret mode in the game.
It's just a ratty old skull.
The game has a total of 5 stages, but those stages take a long time to play through, with a full trip through the game lasting about an hour. The bosses take a while to fight, but go through several varied phases, and memorizing the boss patterns is generally pretty satisfying in this game. There are some great looking cutscenes for the intro, ending, and between stages, again in a cartoon art style. The first cutscene has animation, but the scenes in the rest of the game are still shots. There's also in-game text dialogue. The cutscenes and in-game text vary depending on which character player 1 has selected. The story itself is a nice straightforward revenge plot that will take our heroes all the way to the stars. Everything is nicely done and well written. After the ending story sequence, there are no end credits. Instead, the game credits can be accessed in the options screen while playing in AES mode. An impressive amount of people worked on this title, and the end result is a very professional product. By the way, that option screen also allows you to set the difficulty, reassign buttons, and sample the game's music.
The soundtrack for Vengeance Hunters was arranged and composed by Pentatrangle, who also did the music for other indie games Cyber Shadow, Lords of Exile, and Nuclear Blaze, among others. Just like in the last new game I covered, Project Neon, here in Vengeance Hunters we once again have a proper soundtrack arranged for the Neo Geo's YM2610 sound chip, thanks to Deflamask. I went into detail on this quite a bit in that previous video, so you can check that out to hear more about what I have to say about this style of Neo Geo music. In short, in Vengeance Hunters, it's great to hear the Neo Geo's FM and SSG channels being utilized, unlike in most of the previous unofficial Neo Geo releases, which simply used recorded music. The heavy use of FM in Vengeance Hunters music creates a sound more akin to that of a Sega Genesis or Mega Drive, unlike most official Neo Geo releases from back in the system's lifetime, creating a new sound for the Neo Geo. The catchy compositions are quite good here, lending the game's presentation a lot of energy. Beyond the main stage themes, there are separate music tracks for the minigames and some of the sub-areas, which often carry through the same main music themes. Dedicated music for each boss, and separate music for all of the story cutscenes. So the quality soundtrack is quite expansive. Oh, and for the sake of completeness, I should mention that there's no Neo Geo CD version of Vengeance Hunters available, at least for now. You can imagine that the usual memory and piracy concerns apply here. Nalua added this cool splash screen with their own jingle. The MVS version only has 2 soft dip options. The game conforms to proper Neo Geo standards for the most part, allowing you to credit feed or free play in MVS mode. You can't access the options screen from the title or pause while playing in MVS mode, as you would expect. The start button pauses the game rather than select. Like NG DevTeam's releases, the game doesn't support the Neo Geo memory card, but the cartridge supports its own memory saving to maintain options, unlocks, and high scores after powering off. The cartridge also supports updates to the game via SD card. Grab Vengeance Hunters now for your preferred system. You don't have to pay €349 for a Neo Geo cartridge like we did. At $20 on modern platforms, it's a pretty good deal. What are you waiting for? Mr. Jakes and I both had a fantastic time playing this game.
Yeah, and we both recommend it. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at the game with us.
Thank you for watching Neo Geo Generation. On this series, I've been covering every officially released Neo Geo game one by one in order, or trying to at least. We'll be back with another traditional episode of the series soon. To keep up with the latest videos, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Basement Brothers. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, go play some Neo Geo. This is Neo Alec signing off.